Grete from Scandinavian Today. I am going to make my version of Æbleskiver. And you might know that Æbleskiver is a very old tradition in the Nordic countries. The Vikings were the one who started making Æbleskiver, so of course we all love them. And I decided to give them a little twist. In fact, I'm adding chocolate chips and also chopped walnuts, and I think it gives them a nice touch. Hopefully you will also like it. So let's start mixing the ingredients and bake them, and I look forward to eating them, of course, because I know they're wonderful. And the ingredients for my Æbleskiver today are the following: 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of cream, I have an 8 cup of sugar, then I have 3 eggs, and also I am going to use 1/4 teaspoon of salt right here. And next to that I have 1 teaspoon of cardamom, then I have 2¼ teaspoon of baking yeast, and I have 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and also I have some lemon peel. And you can bake your Æbleskiver in oil if you prefer. However, I grew up using butter, so I prefer using butter, or of course margarine will work as well. And today, since I'm making my Æbleskiver special in a certain way, I'm going to add chocolate chips and chopped walnuts. So, and I have half a cup of each, half a cup of chocolate chips, half a cup of walnuts. So let's start mixing the ingredients. So the first step is to heat up the cream to about 110 degrees, and then I'm going to add the yeast, and I will let this develop while I am mixing the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so here we have all the yeast in there. Mix it up a little bit, and then it should be bubbly very soon. When you see it bubbles, then it's ready. Okay, and then I'm going to add the baking soda to the flour, as well as the cardamom and the salt. Okay, just mix it in a little bit. And then I'll leave the milk and this for a little bit. And here we have the butter, and you make sure it's soft, and then the sugar goes in. And I'm going to mix the 4 tablespoons of butter with the sugar. Right, and I'm adding the 4 eggs. I'm sorry, 3 egg yolks, not 4, 3 egg yolks. And I already separated the egg yolks from the egg white. This has been really mixed very well, and in the meantime you can see that the cream and yeast mixture is bubbly, so it's ready to be mixed into the sugar, the cream and the butter. There it goes. Mix it a little bit, and I can add the flour mixture, which is here, and beat it up. And of course I also have to add the lemon peel. It has been all mixed up really well, and I'm going to clean the mixer, and then I can whip up the egg whites. And of course I'm going to add my chocolate chips as well as the walnuts. And I'm mixing it in. And the next step is to add the whipped up egg whites. And here you see I have my egg whites nice and stiff. And of course you don't want to smash the egg whites too much, you know, just be gentle when you mix it in. And then after it's been all mixed up, I'm going to leave it for about an hour because I want the yeast to raise. Okay, I can cover it up and I will be back in about an hour. So as you can tell, the dough has risen, it's nice and bubbly. And here I have my Æbleskiver pan, and I added the butter and it has melted. And I'm turning it up a little bit so it gets bubbly. And the moment it's bubbling, I'm going to add the Æbleskiver dough. And it's just about there. And of course, hopefully you have an Æbleskiver pan. If you don't, you can find it online. And you can see that the butter has melted, and I'm adding a spoonful in each bowl. And I turn it down just a little bit because I have to turn them and I want to make sure they get baked all the way. And of course you can tell when they're firm around the edges, which is the case with this one. Look, it's already done on this side. So I think the next one can be turned as well, and sure enough. And here we go. Okay. And they really look good. So it shouldn't take too long on this side. But like I said, I turned it down a little bit to make sure they get baked all the way through. And then when I add the next spoonful, I'll turn it up just a little bit again. And of course, I have to admit, I am using a knitting pin for turning my Æbleskiver. When I was a kid, I loved baking Æbleskiver, and I always use a knitting pin, so I'm still doing it. And you can turn them a little bit so they get baked, you know. Make sure they're baked all the way through. And of course a good way is clean the knitting pin. If you clean the knitting pin so you don't have any dough on it, and then you can check out the Æbleskiver to make sure it's baked all the way. And I think this one should be done. Well, actually I still see a little bit of dough on the tip of the knitting pin, so I think I need to let it bake just a little bit longer. And here is the first Æbleskiver, and you can tell it has been baked, and you can see the melted chocolate inside it. So this is the one I'm going to eat now. Well, you might want to add the batter first, half of the batter, and then add, instead of like I did, add the chocolate chip in the batter already, you can add it in the center now, a couple of them, and then you can take some batter and put on top. And this way you know the chocolate chips are inside and not on the outside. But either way it will work. I already added it to my batter. I think it works okay like that. Well, I'm eating the first Æbleskiver and it is delicious. Absolutely. I can taste the lemon peel, the chocolate, and the crunchy nuts, so this is good. As I mentioned earlier, when first the Æbleskiver pan is hot, you can turn it down a little bit because otherwise the Æbleskiver will be burned. And you want to make sure they get baked all the way through without burning. And this will give you a nice big portion, so of course you can freeze some of them. You don't have to eat them all today. Just freeze them, and when you're ready to eat them, take them out and heat them up in a microwave. That'll be fine. And I have quite a big portion here. I have more left, but it'll take me a while to get them all done, but they will be delicious. And since we have chocolate in those Æbleskiver, you might want to decorate them with a little bit of chocolate. Just sprinkle a little bit on top. I melted some chocolate, and you don't need a whole lot, just a little bit on the surface. So it's really up to you the way you want to serve them. Of course, traditionally we dip the Æbleskiver in sugar or in jam. And there we have a nice big bowl full of Æbleskiver. And it's time for me to taste my delicious Æbleskiver stuffed with chocolate chips and walnuts. So here I'm eating my Æbleskiver with chocolate and walnuts, and lemon peel is added as a nice flavor. I can taste it just the way I like it. I think this is a great way of making Æbleskiver. I hope you also like it. And since this is Christmas time, I'm going to have a glass of gløgg together with my Æbleskiver. And you can also find one of my videos where I'm making gløgg. So, skål, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, God jul, and I hope to see you another day. Thank you so much for watching.